Sales, baby. I love sales. How do you guys feel about sales? What would it mean to your life if you loved it, do you think? Would you be like a different person, like that you wouldn't like?
I think so. I got scarred by it when I started to sell beauty products.
Yeah. Because most sales is bad sales. Most sales is, like we're talking about, it's a push from the outside. You know, you get the picture of like the short hair kind of in your face, or the, boy, have I got a deal for you. It depends on what you're selling. It depends more on how you're selling it. So I mentioned, a classic by Neil Rackham, spin selling. Put it in your library. S-P-I-N, selling. This was the first scientific study, and this was done in the 80s. The first person to actually go out there, a research firm, and actually say, okay, let's study the successful major account salespeople. And that's what we are. And if you were to describe us in a corporate sense, we're major account salespeople. We're selling a high-value service and a deep relationship. We're not selling a widget. We're not selling, sporks. And what they found in those studies of over 30,000 sales calls in all sorts of different industries is that a lot of the traditional concepts of what made good salespeople, overcoming objections, knowing how to close, that sort of stuff, actually produced really bad salespeople. The more that people sort of had to overcome objections or use closing techniques, the less that correlated with successful sales. And that was, most of this stuff was true even for smaller items, but this is especially true for relationship, sales and stuff. And what was correlated with great success in sales were especially the I-in and the in and the spin. These are 4 sorts of questions: situation, problem, implication, and need. And all sorts of salespeople, most of them would ask about situation and problem questions. Okay, so tell me a little about what you guys have going on here, about your business. Tell me about what's the problem. And that's where most people would stop, and then they'd say, okay, here's the solution, right? So switching from receptivity to immediately, I'm on you. I'm going to close you. I'm going to close you again and again and again until I get the sale. The whole energy of it, and the whole languaging of it, closing a sale. Wouldn't we rather open a relationship? All right. So the way that successful major account salespeople open relationships and get sales is that they would emphasize the latter 2 questions in spin, which are implication and need payoff. So an implication question makes the problem bigger or worse or more real. So if I'm selling telecommunications, which I've done, it's where I say, okay, so not having that internet connectivity, not having that speed that you need, what's been some of the impact of that on your business? Well, we sometimes can't access the site that we need to quickly enough. A lot of our software is in the cloud, and so it slows down productivity. How much would you say it slows down productivity for you? I haven't thought about that, but I guess if we could get to pages instantly, it probably cuts our productivity in half. Half, wow. What would that translate into in terms of like a dollar amount for your business? Whoa. So you see, the implication question makes the problem bigger and brighter and more apparent, the true impact of something. A need payoff is, so if you had this internet speed the way that you want it, and you could access your applications pretty much instantly, and you gain that, you would gain that extra productivity back, is that right? And that would mean this much for your business. Would there be any other, positive impacts to being able to do that? So you're getting them to basically say that they need this solution. It's coming from inside them rather than me. All I'm doing is asking questions about the impact that it's having on them and what having a better solution, what that would truly do for them. So when we do an enrollment process with a prospective client, we're basically asking implication and need payoff questions. So here's a particular format that I like that I think hits on these really well. And that by the end of it, if we've done this well, the client is very, has become very aware and very motivated to make some change in their life. And I, as the practitioner, have a very awakened sense of empathy or compassion and want to help them. I want this for them by the end of this. So here's the first step. So this would be a great one to take notes on. It's in the book too, but you can hear it and take notes, and it might land differently. So the first is that we build trust, we build rapport. That's like the SP in the spin selling, situation problem. So tell me a little bit about your health. Where are things at for you? And they tell us a bit about it. So this is normally taking the form of like a free introductory session. And the benefit of the free introductory session is that we're going to help you clarify your vision for your health, this year, set some key milestone objectives, and uncover any hidden obstacles that could sabotage your success. And you're going to leave the introductory session feeling more clear, inspired, and motivated to take action in your life. That's the value proposition, and it truly is the value of the introductory session. So first we create rapport. We ask, all right, where are things at for your health? Tell me a little bit about it. And we don't want that to become half an hour. We want a little bit, or give me a snapshot of some of the key things with your health right now. And then we begin to create an energetic template with them. We build a vision for where things could be, where they would like things to be. So whatever period of time you like to work with clients, 3 months, 6 months, a year, in the next 6 months, where would you like to be with your health? What are the results that you'd like to have? What would you like to have different? So that's question number 2. And we can find out the details about it. Is there anything else you'd like about your health? Now with all that, there's question number 3. What would be the impact if you were able to achieve these things in your health, with your health? What would that do for you? What would be the impact on your life? We can also check in these areas. How would that affect your relationships? What would be the best part about all that? And then with the next question, we're going to look at what are the challenges to getting there. So, what are some of the challenges that you think could slow you down or stand in your way or stop you from getting these results? And then we're going to ask again, next question about the impact of those challenges. What's been some of the impact of those challenges? How have those affected you? Sometimes I'll like to ask, what would you say those challenges or the way things have been have cost you? What do you mean cost you? I mean, what have they cost you personally? What have they cost you, relationally, professionally? What have they cost you financially? What's been the cost? So here's the final piece. We bring together kind of heaven and earth. If you feel the energy of this, like when we talk about building a vision, what we'd like, the energy kind of comes up the spine. And we talk about challenges and costs and stuff, it grounds us and comes down the spine. It becomes real and tangible and concrete. Like, ugh, whoa. So now we want to kind of connect heaven and earth with this question. So if you could overcome these challenges and flow freely towards your results, what would that do for you? So we've got the entire landscape, and now we're pulling it all together. And we want to get kind of the essence of this. What's the essence of what this work is going to mean for this person? What's the single best thing about all this? About this, what this will mean for them? And then we have sort of a magic transition question. So whoever your prospect is, fill that in for people. I have a program that's designed specifically for people to overcome these sorts of challenges and to achieve these sorts of results with their health. Would you like to hear a little bit about it?
Yes.
Of course you do. Because we've already, you're at this point, like, this is a powerful moment because you're motivated, you're connected, you've been real with yourself and with me, and that means a lot to me, and it's been, it's valuable for you. And so now here's the presentation. Here's now where I bare my soul. You had your turn, here's mine. Excellent. So there are four main areas where I really support my clients. The first is helping my clients really clarify their goals and their vision. Because what we can clearly state, we create. Even in this moment, in this last, 20 minutes or whatever we've spent together going through this, we really have created like an energetic template for all this. This exists now at a subtle level. So we want to help to keep that energy behind that. Keep clear about what you want and what drives that inside of you, what that's going to mean for you, and also the very real costs of not moving forward with that drive. So that's the first area, and I'll say, does that make sense? Do you understand that? And does that feel like that would be valuable for you? And the next area where I help my clients is on strategizing the actual actions, the actual behaviors. So you have the results that you have in your life right now because of actions and behaviors that you've been taking on a regular basis. And if you want different things, it means taking different actions. So we'll help you get really clear about what those biggest leverage actions would be, that when you change them, you're going to get the biggest results. It's going to make the biggest difference for you. So that you're not, to any degree that you've been guessing. I also want to go back. Anything that they've already told me, I can draw in at this point and say, like one thing was that you've been so confused about which diet's kind of right for you, and we want to really, resolve that confusion so that you know exactly what's good and works for you. So, does that feel like that would be valuable for you? Great. The third area where I really help my clients is on mastering your inner experience. So the thing about doing this work is that, for us to really create lasting change in our lives, we're usually not the same people that we are today, that's that person that's going to have those new results. So any place in you where there's a stuck feeling or a thought or belief about yourself or the world, or a place where you've kind of given your power away, we want to make sure that those are resolved and aligned to support you to take these new behaviors and actions. Does that make sense? Does that feel like that would be valuable for you? Great. And then the fourth area where I help my clients is on aligning your collective space. You're part of groups and relationships. You have shared behaviors and environments and systems. And there are probably a lot of things in there right now that are supporting you that you could anchor and really prioritize. That the more that you have those in place, the easier things are. And there might be other things that are really kind of big obstructions for you. So we want to make sure that your collective environment is aligned to support you so that getting the results that you want becomes inevitable. You're flowing downstream naturally towards your goals rather than have to use your willpower and fight the current, fight upstream. And I'll give an example if I need to, if it feels like that's not clear in any way, but I'll say, does that part make sense, and does that feel like that would be valuable for you? And I'll say, do you have any questions about those 4 areas where I work with my clients, where we could work together? And usually at that point they'll ask a little bit about so how do you do this exactly? What's it look like? Or they'll ask about the cost. Or if not, then I'll say, well, the next thing that people usually want to know about is the structure of our work, like what that looks like working together. Would you like to hear about that? So each time I'm also checking in as a question, so it's not me pushing something on them, but letting them guide the interest. Yeah, totally, I want to hear about that. So, the way that I work with my clients is I work with clients for 6 months at a time, and we work together on a weekly basis for an hour, usually same time each week. And if we need an extra call, that's fine. Email me anytime with anything that's up. I want you to feel like we have a full blanket of support. You have everything that you need to understand how to overcome these challenges and to achieve the results that you want. And one of us might take a vacation occasionally and be out of there, but for the most part we'll have that that consistent anchor in place that will create an ongoing movement for you in the direction you want to go. How does that sound? And answer any questions they have there. And I don't do other things with my structure. I don't say oh well maybe we could do it this way or that way. What I feel like that introduces, when the client has to decide their own structure that works for them, is that it actually breaks a sense of trust in us working together. The value of us working, because now they're thinking well, even subconsciously, shouldn't you know what the best bet is? And that is true. That's something we know. We know that if you work with me once a month, you get these results. If you work with me consistently every week, you get way better results that stick. So that's the structure piece. And then I'll say, any questions about that? And then if they don't, then I'll say, the last thing people usually want to know about is the investment in this. What's this look like to move forward? Would you like to hear about that? Yeah, I'm very curious about that part. Good. So the first thing I want to let you know about my services is that I offer everything with what I call my happiness guarantee. And what I mean by that is that if in our first month working together, if you don't absolutely love the work that we're doing, and if it doesn't feel like exactly what you need to overcome these challenges and get these results that you want, then not only are you not on the hook for the rest of our coaching, but I will refund every penny that you've paid so far. And I'll sometimes say, just explain why that is. I'll say that I'm not in any sort of business of, taking something from somebody if it's not absolutely what you're looking for. I want this to feel excellent for you. And I want there to be, as little risk as possible about getting started with, this path. I want this for you. So the way that the way the investment works, you actually have 2 options. You can either do a full pay for the 6 months, or you can pay on a monthly basis. And if you pay on the monthly basis, then my rates are $1,297 per month. Or if you do the full pay for the 6 months, my rates are $5,997 for the full pay. So you get special pricing if you do the full pay. Which of those feels like it could be a better fit for you? And, half the time people just say right then, you'll be surprised. The first time that you say this, you're waiting for people that, because you're inside, you're being like, oh my God, is this going to happen? So just be with that energy, hold it, breathe deep. When you put your price, that's when all the energy comes to the table. Everything becomes real in that moment. When you put your rates out there and you ask somebody basically, do you want to do it? So since there's a lot of energy there, know that ahead of time and relax your belly, relax your butt, relax your legs. Just open yourself up for that flood of energy that's going to come. And it's going to come in them too. So they'll either say, well, the full pay sounds better or the monthly sounds better for me. Or they will have some reason about not moving forward. Ooh, whoa, okay. Well, this sounds great, but I don't know. I think I'm going to need to talk with my husband or my wife or whatever. I need to think about this, or that seems outside of my budget. So those are the three big ones. I need to think about it, I need to talk with somebody, or the money. And you can make kind of your own decision about where you want to go with that. Depending on, where you are with your client load. Like if you're not concerned at all about clients and you're at a place where you've got other options for people or whatever, and you just basically want to take the clients that are ready to rock, then you can say, okay, right, if that's not a fit, then I hope this has been valuable for you, and you can have as long as you want to consider this and let me know if you think it's a fit. Or you can do this. I've got two things for you. One is that you can use it as an opportunity right now to start doing some work, if they'd like that, if they're open to that. Say, I'd love for you to be able to make a decision either way from a place of peace. And I know what usually happens when we think about doing something like this, investing in our health. Stuff comes up right away. And it sounds like part of you is really clear that this would be valuable for you and, be very much what you're looking for and what you need. And another part of you is concerned, has some reservations. Does that sound true for you? And then I'll say, so, if we had a crying baby, we could go put it in the closet and shut the door and run downstairs and turn on the TV and try to forget about it. But that wouldn't be a great way to treat the baby. So what the baby is looking for is to be held and just needs to know that it's safe and it's there, it's loved, it might need to be fed or whatever, but the baby's crying because we need something there. And we know that that's how we treat a baby. That's not always how we treat the responses that we have to things in life. Sometimes we put them in the closet and we run downstairs and turn on the TV. And so, if you'd like here, I'd love to just coach you to being able to get to a place of peace around decision. And again, I'm okay, absolutely either way. Like, I want this for you, but I want whatever feels right for you. So if they're up for that, I'll say, okay, so when you think about moving forward with this coaching, and you get that feeling, the resistance part or the fear part or the concern part, where do you feel that the most in your body? And if you can go there and just go to the place where it's intense, but it feels also like there might be a center of the intensity, where it feels the most intense within that intense area. And hang out with that spot. Just let yourself be with that feeling. Let it be everything it needs to be. And then let me know if it shifts or changes or moves around in any way. And not always, but most of the time we can help them get to a place of peace. So I'll say, how's that feeling feel now? And they say, well, now it just feels like energy or excitement, or it feels like I feel good with it. I feel at peace. I can hold it. So what's happening is they're relaxing by doing that and holding space for all that energy that just came up. It's a bigger thing. Anything that's bigger than what you're normally used to doing will bring stuff up. And so, we use our mind to logically and rationally assess things, but sometimes we think that's what we're doing, but really our feelings are. So we want to make sure that the feeling is clear, and then we can have a clear view of, okay, what is this actually? And then from that space, they say, okay, so from this place of peace, how's it feeling moving forward with coaching, moving forward with this? And then I really am okay either way with that. So if they say, cool, let's go for it, then I'd say, okay, let's schedule your first session. Here's some times I have available, which feels best for you. Let me get you entered into the system, collect all of your information. And then here's the exciting part. Which credit card would you like to use? Visa, MasterCard, whatever. You collect the credit card, you run it on your merchant account, and which I recommend have on your merchant account. And you say, excellent, this is great, and I'm really looking forward to getting started with you next week. In between now and then, I'm going to send you some new patient paperwork to look over and fill out and get back to me, and we'll get started. And if you have any questions or anything comes up in the meantime, feel free, again, to call me, email me with anything. I love you. It's true. You will feel that. This is a great process to go through with people. It's very real. So that's why I love sales so much, because it gets to the realness of problems and solutions and the costs and impacts that they have on our lives. It creates real connection and real trust and rapport. And so a good salesperson, people will think of them more as like a consultant or a trusted advisor than they will a salesperson. Again, because of our connotation with what sales is meant. Any questions about that enrollment process? Does that feel like something that you could do?
How long are your free consultations?
1 hour.
1 hour.
Yeah. So depending on how quickly you want to move through that, but an hour feels good to me. I just like to hang out with all of that information for a long time. I also like time to, if it feels like there's something that there's an opportunity to go ahead and resolve this and move forward, then I want to make sure I have that time. I don't want to feel like super tight on the end.
Do people are like, do they come in and can you take my pulse? So do they kind of try to push it? They do that with me when I try to do free consultations. Like, can you take my pulse? Like, can you lift my tongue? Like,
yeah.
Do you do that?
I mean, one thing you could say is like, I will definitely take your pulse and tongue once I know that that's relevant.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, you're not like a novelty store, right? So yeah. Yeah. That's kind of fun at like the booth or something that you can do that, but you can have some sort of compelling, interesting something or other that's sort of your free content. But when it comes down to the introductory session, the purpose of that is to get clear about where this person wants to head, why, what the cost is of not heading there, and then to see if us working together is a fit. Yeah. And then pulse and tongue readings galore, waiting on the other side.
So don't be a pushover.
Yeah. 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 You'd love to know that, wouldn't you? Well, let's go through this process, and if at the end of that it feels like a fit, I'll be one of the first things we do. So enrollment. So that's huge. It's like this is one of the big skill areas. This is where you bridge these two worlds, right? Everything that kind of looks and sounds good and connection and trust, and then there's a conversion, there's an agni that happens in that moment. There's a fire that you pass through where you are now a client, we're now in relationship, this has changed. You got to know me through this, maybe you came to my talk, we've built something here, and this is where we make a decision. And either way, it's like I wish you the best, I want this for you in your life, and I hope you get it. Covered that. Agenda complete.